This is the hangover episode. Shout out Carlie.
Episode about nothing. How you doing? How you feeling?
The binge episode. Oh, are we starting?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Carlie's couch from Carlie's desk.
I'm Carlie.
I'm Lex.
Man, Lex, how you doing? How you feeling today?
So, man, I'm doing pretty good. Feel like this week has been interesting because I got some, I don't even want to say bad news because it wasn't bad. Like I actually felt kind of freeing, but like I got like a lot of like things happen at once, and it's very interesting to see how in life, like as things leave or move, like how other things fill in the space. So it's been a very interesting week, and I don't know, I'm kind of excited, I think, about feeling like I'm always still clarifying and figuring out, like, you know, where am I going with things, and, you know, what is my focus with stuff. And it's so weird to think about the fact that, like, you can be, I don't want to say so old because it's not like we're that old, but like, you know, that is always like a never ending thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you feel like that, but like maybe, because I feel like you're always talking about, you know, how do I want to pivot this, or how do I want to change this, and, you know, like always trying to make things fit what feels like it's right for right now for you. So that's kind of what life just is in general. And so when things happen, it just never, I don't know, it's really weird actually. It just never feels like it's like a big deal, which sometimes I'm like, okay, is that a good thing to not, you know, to be able to just be like, okay, cool, and just maneuver. I'll make sure I'm not like overly not caring about stuff too, you know. That's always my thing.
Yeah.
Like either I used to be like super care too much, or I'm like, damn, I don't know if this is appropriate to not care at all. But yeah, that's how my week is.
Shout out to that. Shout out to
Ebbs and flows.
I mean, but yeah, that's how life moves though. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that it's good or bad, like depending on how you take things. I think it just kind of is. And if you feel good about it and feel okay with it, then it just kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like nothing is really a problem. So I think how we think about things just like makes stuff more difficult or whatever. But for the most part, I don't know, what advice or tips do you have for like rejuvenating your own energy? That's kind of what I'm thinking about lately, is like, it feels like every once in a while, it's always like a up and down of like, you know, like really being into stuff or excited about stuff. And then sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm just tired, you know, or like you kind of just want to, you know, you feel like you need that break then, which I think it's more than just, you know, taking the breaks and stuff, but just keeping your energy up.
Yeah. So there's
like not even, let me turn around. My like back is to her because I'm trying to sit.
Ooh, tight quarters back here.
Sorry.
For rejuvenating energy, it ebbs and flows like life. So if your body is telling you to rest, and if you feel tired, like rest, take breaks. But then what I've been doing lately is actually took a mini getaway. Like I needed time for myself. So I did some time not working, not doing things that I feel like I have to do. So I allowed myself space to just be. And in that space, I did things that brought me joy. If that was like going to try a new food place, doing yoga outside, you know, naked morning meditations, because I had my own private balcony, private rooftop thing, like whatever it is that brings you joy. And then in that space, like since then, it's been this like ripple effect in my whole life that I've just been doing more things that bring me joy, that are not things that I feel like I have to do or want to do. But my energy has been so rejuvenated by doing all of these creative projects that weren't even on my to-do list, weren't even things I was thinking about. But that's kind of lately how I've been rejuvenating my energy is
things that weren't work, or is work related?
Not work related. Just things that are exciting. But in that, like me having that space has brought more energy to other areas of my life too. So I've felt a spark from doing those creative things just for myself that has carried over into everything else that I'm doing.
And so taking a break.
Taking a break and then trying things like listening to yourself, like tuning inwards, which we always talk about, and then listening to see, you know, what is it that you want to do or want to try. And in that space, all of mine have been around creating different things that's built up energy that has flown into everything else.
Creating what types of things?
I've been like propagating more stuff with my plants. I've been painting a lot. I've been making body butters. I've been doing all kinds of stuff that like has not been a thing. I've been baking more and trying new recipes, like just doing things that feel good to me. Allowing myself.
That's different than normal though?
To this extent, yes. Mm-hmm. To this extent, like, and just giving myself more time to be and to do things, because I would normally feel guilty, like, oh man, I have to do this, or it has to be this, or whatever it is. Amazon person.
What's the last thing you just said?
I said that was the Amazon person.
Oh.
Because I thought you looked at the door.
I did, but then that's why, and then it distracted me from what you said, and I didn't want to be messing up. So, to me, that sounds like stepping away from, it sounds like trying to balance two different lives, though.
What do you mean?
Instead of it being all one. So I don't want to feel like I have to take a break from stuff or like do these things at the expense of, and maybe you didn't feel like it was at the expense of. But I think, you know what, so I'm going to take it back to the less like in the sky thoughts and think about things. Like for me, I think working out, like in the last couple of weeks, I just realized, cause my trainer had started coming back and had a new spot downtown. And so I was going for like a couple weeks since the pandemic stuff. So I hadn't been working out all the time and I didn't miss it at all. I didn't feel like whatever. But then when I went back for a couple weeks and then he stopped again because he needed to find a new gym or something. Then I was like, dang, like now I'm like, all right, I kind of need to, like, I felt like that's what was missing, maybe like more movement or more like the actual working out my body. I never really felt like that was that big of a part of it. But all of a sudden now it did feel like that. And it felt like something to like jumpstart a day for me, since I would do it in the morning. But at the same time, I'm not just jumping up anyway to like, oh, let me jump up and work out by myself. So I don't know, just trying to find like what can spark, or like, should we even need a spark? You know, I guess that's the thing too. Like we shouldn't really need to spark to like feel moved to do things. And also just like, Ashley said in a couple episodes ago when she was talking, the execution coach, one of the main things she said that I was like, oh yeah, I super identify with that, is that really if you're in any kind of like, and I don't want to over like complicate by calling it like a slump because it's not that deep, but you know, if you're feeling kind of like whatever, or you're not like super motivated or feeling it, that really actually just doing things like kind of get you there. And for me, it does. But I don't know. I feel like I just very quickly like wave from like one side to the next side as far as being like really into something and then being like, whew, I just want to take a nap, or, you know, and it's like all over.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. To what you said earlier, I don't feel like they're two separate lives, but I do understand what you're saying as in like daily things that you can do that are already like part of your routine, as opposed to like just taking a break to get that energy shift. Working out has been like my saving grace during this pandemic. Everybody's like, oh man, like you look like you've lost weight. I'm like, yeah, bro, I've been working out. And they're like, oh, like that must be a great motivator. And I'm like, I'm just doing this to stay sane and to make sure that
But you always are just doing that anyway too.
Yeah. And so that's part of me, just like, that's part of my upkeep. Like if I don't work out, I'm gonna have an attitude, I'm gonna feel a type of way. And so I just have to use that for my energy. And so that's something that rejuvenates me. In my everyday, I feel like my whole life is a framework of things to keep me grounded and to keep me in my like flow state or in my optimal state so that I can be in my flow state and can show up as my best self. And it's all in the routine. It's like, so Also, during the pandemic, what has changed is I've actually started meditating every day. And I say actually started because I have never meditated every day, y'all. I'm a meditation teacher. And it just is a struggle for me sometimes. But lately, I have. And it's a game changer. I don't know why this 10 to 15 minutes a day really is. But I'll wake up, think of the things I'm grateful for, and hit my little Insight Timer app. That's my new favorite meditation app. It's free. They've done a great job of highlighting Black and brown instructors. So Insight Timer, and then you can just search for whatever you're feeling that morning, like gratitude or overthinking or joy or self-love, whatever the thing is, you search for it. All these meditations pop up. You pick one that looks like it resonates with you and go with it. And just having that space makes it feel like the rest of my day, like I'm in more control of my time. Like my time doesn't get away from me. Like if I start there, I start from this grounded place. And then I can just kind of move how I want to instead of like waking up, having a rush to do this and do this and do this and then feel like I'm always behind. If I do that, I'm good.
Yeah, and I've stopped doing it, but I don't, I just always go back and forth with, I'll do some of these mindful things or be in a routine and I'm always changing it. And then, like, if I feel like it's not serving me right now or like there's something that needs to be more in place or different, I'll just kind of stop. So I haven't been meditating at all lately, but also I'll think about it. So like I'll be sitting there and I'll look at that. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like doing it right now for whatever reason. But also I'll tell people too that meditation is important. And I think for people who think they don't have time to do it, that's how you know you need to do it. But when you do it, are you just in bed in the morning still, or is like?
Most of the time I'm still in bed.
Did you start waking up a little earlier to do it, or you just added in and make sure like you have to do that first?
Both. So if I do have to like go teach a class in the morning, then I will get up earlier to do it. But on other days, I just make sure that I consistently do it. And they say you're not supposed to, well, sometimes some teachers say you're not supposed to lay down, but I enjoy laying down in my bed.
Yeah, I do too. But you're not supposed to. I mean, or it's like your body's in sleep mode, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I'll be just fading out when I try to lay down and meditate.
Yeah. And to your point, I think that different things work at different times, which is why right now I'm meditating heavy. In 2 weeks, I might not be. And that's okay. Like I was journaling heavy for a little bit. Shout out to Whitey. Now I've been slacking a little bit. So it just.
Yeah, I like that. Different things like kind of work at different times and just paying attention.
And this goes back to stuff that we talk about often is like, why do you feel like you have to do those things? And I do understand the importance of consistency, especially as a coach, like working out, showing up for work, doing all those things are important. And sometimes you have to do it even if you don't want to. But all of these other things, like, are you stressing yourself out trying to get back into flow or trying to take care of yourself? And if at any point it becomes stressful, you should probably just try something else.
And just chill. Yeah, it's like how kind of assessing like how can you best show up right now or for yourself. And sometimes it is just like rest or just chilling. But also I think, man, like it is powering through sometimes too. So I don't know. I feel like I've been trying to just chill. And then if I'm like not feeling it or I feel like not doing anything, then I've noticed that there are no repercussions really. So like, for example, if there's something like on my plate and I'm like, man, I'm just tired out, I'd rather just go to bed and wake up early and kind of be fresh, like fresh mind. It'll take me less time to like think about it or focus than if I try to force it right now. And then the next day, something, I'll get some kind of alert or something happen like, oh, I don't even need to do that anymore. Or, like whatever it is didn't work out. Or I would have wasted my time if I had tried to power through type thing. And so I'm just kind of noticing too that it really is just kind of like go with the flow of how you feel.
Yeah. And I'm finally in that place. And we talk about it a lot. And I feel like lately, if y'all have noticed with the episode topics, I've been a little bit in my head or a lot of bit, but who's counting?
In your head?
Yeah. And like, just in my thoughts. And I think
thinking is draining.
Bruh. It'd be
like,
exhausting.
I think that's, I'm sorry, let me let you finish.
No, go ahead. Because
I was just going to go into like, I was thinking about that a few weeks ago too, that when we find ourselves like feeling like kind of self-aware, like, man, something's like, you just start thinking and then you're just thinking and thinking and thinking. And that thinking can be so draining. Like it feels like you're working just because you're sitting there like, but also I'm like, okay, how could I have better spent that energy? Or what could I have been doing in that time where this isn't really resting sometimes if I'm really just like spinning. And it doesn't matter what it's spinning about. Like it could be, not that deep, or maybe it is, but like thinking, or like me, or probably kind of how you are too. Like, if I'm like, dang, why am I so this right now? Or why am I thinking this? And you're going to Google it and look up stuff. And,
yes.
And it's like, or I could just get on my fucking laptop and like start doing whatever, like instead of like looking up, like, how do you get back on track? Like just get the fuck on track.
Back on track.
Right. Like it's not that deep. And then it's just like, even like scrolling social media, like all those things, like I think maybe just paying attention to what's draining you and maybe what you're trying to avoid. So I feel like sometimes the thinking, sometimes that, minor distractions and stuff is really just like trying to avoid whatever it is, but it's at the cost of like, you still feel tired.
Yeah, and you're expending all that mental energy, wondering why you're so freaking exhausted later on in the day. And that's such a beautiful space that's new to me, is this just flowing. Like I've noticed lately, I was telling Lexi, like, man, I'm excited. I've had this breakthrough where like I'll notice myself about to go down a rabbit hole. Like she was just talking about like thinking and trying to, oh my God, why do I feel this way? How can I change it? How can I be better? All this stuff. And I notice it and I'm like looking at it like, oh man, there's that, like I'm feeling anxious again. Like, oh, okay, cool. And sit with it for a second and then keep it moving. And I think that's the first time I've consciously really been able to do that. Like seeing my thoughts and not becoming overwhelmed by them or letting them, take up too much time or space, and then just getting back to myself. And so that's like a huge breakthrough for me, and just flowing and doing things has been really beautiful lately.
But I feel like it's so weird because, every week that we talk, it feels like we're talking about like, oh man, I'm having this breakthrough, or this is happening. And it's like, it's stuff that, it's the same stuff that we're always talking about also. And so I don't know. It's like, it's just like not that deep. I'm getting a little stoic right now because I'm about to go into nothing matters mode. But yeah, it's like, I wish I could turn my brain off sometimes. It's like, we don't need to think about any of this stuff sometimes, like you don't have to always be thinking about, oh man, how can I change this? Or what should be better? Or what should I be thinking? What should? It's too many shoulds, I think.
Shoulding all over ourselves.
Yeah, maybe that's something to kind of catch. Is like, all right, when am I don't know if it's judging yourself, but like, when am I trying to tell myself that it needs to be something else besides just what it is, and like, what is it? And kind of sitting with that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most powerful shifts that you could ever make. And that's the shift much more eloquently that I'm like speaking of. That's instead of just doing what we've always done and spinning our wheels, essentially just kind of letting stuff be.
So what have you kind of been going through in the last like week? What does your week look like?
What's interesting is I've had a couple opportunities pop up that I wasn't looking for, in the form of jobs. If y'all
like outside people trying to bring you in for something. Oh
yes,
man,
absolutely. So
stuff you want to do,
or no, not even things I was looking for, but great things and things that because y'all know I'm easily excitable, things that I can get excited about that are in quote unquote alignment with what I'm doing. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. But then I was like, why? And I was talking to one of my friends about it, and they were like,
"Can you talk about what it is?" Or not really.
There was this really dope position at Nike that opened up for social impact in the community, and I had a couple people send it to me like, "Yo, you would be dope for this."
I see. But like things to work like that with Nike.
To work at Nike. And then there's another position for a nonprofit that they're looking for a part-time director, someone to come in and just help do some strategy stuff, which is in alignment theoretically with what I do. And I'm like, wow, it's cool. They're helping people. It's all this. I was talking to my friends and they were like, do you want to do that? And I was like, I don't know. They were like, I mean, I guess I'm excited for you if that's something that you want to do. And I was like, And so I was like, yeah, no, I don't really want to do that. And the moment I turned those down, like I didn't even apply for the Nike job. The moment I decided I wasn't going to apply, the moment that I essentially turned the other position down, I had like 2 big opportunities come in for my personal business. And it was kind of cool to be like, okay, universe, like the moment I finally am like, no, then that's when all these other opportunities come in that are exactly what I'm doing.
And what kind of opportunities were those? Those are ones, is it stuff that you wanted to do or just a space that you're already comfortable in so you know what that looks like?
No, this is stuff I want to do.
Wanted to do
stuff
it. That's
for holistically
good.
dope. Like school districts reaching out to me, and I'm like, yo, this is kind of dope. Like, so that's like what's been professionally happening for me. And then personally, just enjoying this space where I can catch myself and love myself a little bit deeper and just keep it moving and just kind of enjoy my day as opposed to being weighed down by my thoughts.
Have you been alone a lot this week? Do you even remember the last week? I'm sitting here trying to think, like, golly, like, how do we get better at even just, like, paying attention to the week, you know, without pulling out your planner and, like, seeing what you have wrote down?
Yeah.
Like, what meetings did I even have? What was I even doing? That's scary to me.
I do have weeks where I don't remember. This past week, I don't know why I do
Time
remember.
is just flying, like, so ridiculous.
I have been alone a lot. Outside of, like, work stuff, I've probably been alone a lot. Hung out with a couple of friends, like, in different capacities. But, yeah, a lot of time by myself. Like I said, doing creative things that I enjoy. Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to talk about some things, but I also don't want to talk about them. I've been spending more time with people and a person. Oh. Look, wait till we get 20 minutes in before I start spilling the tea.
Okay, person.
Yeah, I've been challenging myself though, but it's kind of cool. I've been trying to challenge myself to continue to be more open and flowy and do things different. Like, you know, not the same way I would before. It's very cool to me to think about my life and like how it's like all these different stages where I feel like I was a completely different person, and how you can hop into a situation, or for me, like, and this is what I did with college. We talked about this before, in different spaces where you can go in, like, all right, I'm gonna start with this, be this person, or be more fresh, or like, you know, like, okay, leave that behind and now I want to do this. And so that's what I've kind of been doing recently, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna just approach this totally different. But then I'd be nervous about being distracted, or I get nervous about wanting to like disappear on people. I don't know. I'm so extreme. It's like I'm either like all up on, or I'm like gone. Like, you know, I'll be gone. And I don't know if it matters like what a balance needs to be, but yeah, I feel like I'm a person of extremes, and that's why it's like, what's the middle thing? So it's not like you're either just like all on your own, or you're just like all out, or does it matter? You know, like, that's the thing. I guess it's like, what's the relationship to it? It doesn't matter, as long as you have all those pieces, or you can like move how you need to move.
Yeah. I mean, that's exciting.
What is?
That's a cool space to be in, that you're, you know, challenging yourself and exploring things.
Yeah, my friends been talking about me.
They always talk about you.
Yeah, they do, dog. Like, what's going on with them? Like,
I'm not even going to shout out the people, but they know who they are.
Always. But it's cool though. But people are like, man, like, this is different for you. And I'm like, that's cool, whatever. And my brother, like, everybody's like making fun of me.
I feel like that's a standard though.
I guess. But yeah, it's like just a lot of things happening. And to your what you're talking about, like with opportunities popping up, and the same thing, I guess it sounds like we had similar experience, because with some of the things that came off my plate, and like literally the same day, like multiple things came in, I'm like, oh, I can actually focus on this. And one thing I realized too is that, you know, the idea to not hold on to anything, or like things you're working on or things you're doing too, because I noticed like I was kind of complaining about certain things, right? And like, you know how it is when you're working for yourself and certain things you're doing, you're like, oh man, I don't know, like it's taking a lot of time, you know, it's like you like it, but also it's like and then I was like, oh, and that kind of freed up off my plate. It's like, all right, I was like, that's kind of good, because I was complaining about it and it didn't make as much sense. And then, you know, 3 other things popped up. I'm actually, I didn't even tell you, I'm actually working on the Biden campaign for the election for the next 30 something days. And all these people have like been hitting me up like through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is so fire, guys. We got to do a LinkedIn episode.
Yes,
actually,
we do.
Because I always get so much stuff through there, or just even the opportunities presenting themselves that before I didn't really have the space, like the mental space. I feel like I couldn't get my ideas clear to do like proposals or, to think about strategies and stuff because there's just too much going on with like day-to-day implementation of other projects and things. And so that's what I'm kind of trying to focus back in on now is like, all right, now I have a freer space to like focus on all these proposals, whereas I was too busy to bring on new stuff. And then what does that new stuff look like that will not put me in that same like kind of ready space where you feel like you're just doing stuff all day that's, like, it's okay, but it's not really what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm talking so abstract. I'm trying to change that too. Like, I didn't realize I talk like that until everybody calls me out when I talk to normal people and they ask me a question. And it's like, so what's your answer? Because I'm like, could be this, but also this. And then what about this? Yeah. So I'm going to try to get better at being direct.
I think I do the
People
same
are probably
thing.
listening to this like,
what?
So what are you saying?
So I think I talk the same way though. So that's why I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
We should have a direct episode too, where it's like, ask a question, you have to fucking just
answer the question.
Because you don't.
I'm like, do.
Not even that. You just be having like 20 responses.
I had so many people I had a few people hit me up for our last one, like, yo, Lexi was just trying to ask you questions, bro, and you were just like talking, just answering the question.
Dog, that's why I felt bad too, because I had to cut you off. Like, so that's not the point I was trying to make.
Yo, so just know my friends are clowning me too.
But do you find yourself also, and I think there's maybe not a danger, but with social, with having a podcast, with feeling like, you have any, point of like outreach to people. Sometimes you can get caught up in like, you're trying so hard to think of like, all right, what can the gym be? Or like, what is the convo? Or what do I need to say? That it feels like you're just talking. Like, do you ever feel like that? You're like, no,
not directly. No,
I'll be trying to catch that. Cause it's like, I don't have to come up with like some, groundbreaking points and make it all make sense all the time.
And that's, I think whenever we do our planning for episodes, that helps me a lot. Cause sometimes I think in the planning, I do be trying to think of those things, but I'm much better just talking about stuff. So if it comes out, it comes out. But I don't think I ever like try to deliver those things or try to deliver a point. I think I just speak very ethereally and very like up, and I need to be able to hone that down and be more direct. So I think that's what I get caught up in.
What do you think you need to do for this week to like level up a little bit more?
To level up this week?
Than maybe like the last week.
So I'm actually having a meeting with my maestro, my personal assistant today, to be better this week and be more in alignment. I've hired somebody, shout out to her, a couple weeks ago, and she's been helping me. But what I realize is, I actually need to have my stuff in order to tell her what she needs to do for me. And
that's the danger of like hiring people. You have to have it together.
And so her and I are talking today to make sure that I'm, bringing my A game. I've been doing pretty well, like much, much better when it comes to business stuff and developing systems and actually sending out sales emails and returning stuff to people, like following through. I've been doing I don't say really, I've been doing much better, but I'm working to do really better. But personally, so that's professionally, personally, to level up this week, just keep grinding and letting myself be. We were talking earlier and just talking about like random adventures and experiences. And I've been not finding myself, as we talked about earlier, but just peeling layers back and just allowing myself to explore and to figure things out, and taking any like labels or I'm not premeditated, but like thoughts about who I was before, like all these narratives that I have of myself, I'm kind of questioning them and just enjoying as it all unfolds. So still doing that.
Well, what does that look like?
Doing things that we were just
like, do you have anything that you have planned to do this week? Are you going to try to do something different or just being open and being open
when not filling up all my time with stuff, leaving a little bit of time to just do whatever, but also still questioning why I have some of the beliefs that I do and just giving space to explore that. What about you for leveling up this week?
This week, I need to just spend, I don't know, I feel like it's always the same things. I guess everybody, you have your things that like, it's always the same stuff you're working on. But I think like less, how do I explain this? So how I said earlier, like when you're like kind of chilling but it's a drain. It's not a real chill. Mm-hmm. It's like a draining chill. And I think I want to try to have less draining chill times, or make sure that I get back to, being either like during the day I'm working, or my brain is resting, so that it's not like the rest feels like work. Because I think that's what I do. Like I let my rest turn into work. In the same way that when it comes time to work and I'll start my timer and it's like, all right, just got to get started. I notice like I'll even procrastinate the break too. And it's like, all right, I'm about to take this break or a 5-minute break. And then I kind of like start doing stuff kind of. And it's like, damn, take the break, And then the break is over. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't take the break. And now I take another. And then that kind of extends. And it feels like time kind of can get away from you. Because I didn't just like fully just like stop for a second. Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of get back on my like crisp, like, choo, choo, choo.
I like the choo, choo, choo.
Yeah, I make hella sound effects. I think that will be good. Okay. And hopping into my stuff, going in and taking legit breaks. I don't know. Things feel pretty good. They're kind of, they're not really uncertain. Man, I got so much opportunities right now. It's just things to do. And then thinking about where I want things to go.
Okay.
But I'm so glad I have a lot of good people around and team and all that stuff, and really like just being more present in the things that we need to do, because I have to be an example. Oh man, like I could tell like the more I have to like be really focused on me getting stuff done, and then everybody else kind of like rallies and they get their stuff done. But I could tell like when I'm like kind of like, yeah guys, we could cancel this meeting, and then I feel like it trickles down. Everybody's like, oh okay, like whatever, like not caring as much about stuff. And it's like, no, I want y'all to care, but I just want to not care for a second. Yeah, but shout out to the team, man. They've been holding me down, so I'm actually kind of excited about this week. Because I have a lot more time to focus on growth type stuff.
That's always the fun part for me, is thinking about those things. So that's exciting. And it's funny because I was about to ask you what you were excited about. So you kind of answered that question already. Or if you were excited about anything.
Trying to think of anything else I'm excited about though. Not really. I mean, it's all the same for me right now. Just take my time. Oh, I get to go back to the gym actually this week, so that'll be great.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll see. Well, he said that. I don't know. He was like, details coming Monday, 5 a.m. Like, all right, dog. Like, I still don't have an address yet, so we'll see. But hopefully I can get back in the gym, and then I'll feel like, I'm like, all right, I'm up, 5 a.m., worked out, did this, keep moving, go through my day, get it popping.
Good. Yeah, I've been getting hella workouts in, so that's I'm really
I know
glad.
Will, shout out Will Medley, grind don't stop. He was telling me the other day, he's like, man, I wish Carlie's gym wasn't so far. He's like, I want to work out Carlie. I was like, I bet you do, but yeah, that's far as hell.
Far. I know.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't.
Shout out Thrive.
Yeah, shout out to Thrive Health Lab. We have virtual classes, so come through. If you're trying to work out with me.
Oh, you can do that? Mm-hmm. What, through the gym site, or through you just
through
your
the
thing?
Through the gym site, but also if you want to do, I also have virtual clients. So if you want virtual personal training or yoga, I do that also. Shout out. Man, my clients have been pretty great. Yeah, that's exciting. But I'm so glad that I work at a gym, because I feel like I would have lost my shit if I didn't have somewhere to go and work out. So Real big shout out to them. Yeah, like I said, I'm generally excited. So I'm excited about this week. Nothing in particular. It just feels good. I'm about to go to Trader Joe's and go get some stuff to cook and just kind of chill at my meeting.
So what was this episode about, Carlie? Summarize it for us.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. Today's episode was an episode about nothing, but about life and what's going on in our lives and things that we're thinking through.
About life.
It is, though.
What was it about?
If I had to say there's an underlying thing, where Alexia and I are currently and what we're thinking through and working through and looking forward to. This podcast in it, we talk about, it's a podcast about life and being your best self. Well, this is kind of where we are right now. And what we're looking at is good to do self check-ins. I feel like it was kind of a check-in then possibly. So like a Q4 check-in because Q4 just started. So
did it?
Yeah, or it's about to.
October?
October, November. Oh, it's about to start. So damn.
October, November. Wait. What's after October? November, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Q4.
Yeah,
so Q4 check-in.
God, dog.
Shout out to 2020 for a lot of
I like
shit.
that. We call this Q4 check-in.
Yeah, Q4 check-in. That's what it was. But the episode
that was
about
the plan.
Nothing. See, everything always works out. That's what it is. Everything always works out exactly how it's supposed to. Ooh, face. Ooh, face. If y'all aren't watching, she just made a face.
Right. Well, let me not try to keep going in this combo. Yeah, man, it's important to end out Q4 strong. Actually, I'm glad you did bring that up because, like we said, this year is going so fast and things are so wild right now. So
Wild West.
Yeah, think about what you need to be doing to make this a strong end of the year, a strong like transition into like what's coming up, and how you can best like protect your energy and be moving forward, or at least not regressing, I guess. You know, it's chill to stay in one spot for a little bit. Yeah, but just watch everything going on around you.
Yeah.
I don't got nothing else to say.
Rest and then keep moving forward. That's really all you can do. So work on that.
Do you still want to do a shout out, or let's save it for another?
Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and do the shout out. So, we both talk about our amazing friends all the time, and shout out to Nick Brooks, also known as Ben Kenobi. He just dropped an album. He was on episode 74, Storytelling and Alchemy. He's a filmmaker, an entrepreneur, real estate developer. He does a lot of things, but he's also a rapper, producer,
getting money,
writer, getting that money.
Is he single? No. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean that. No disrespect.
So
before I put him out there.
Shout out to Nick for dropping his album. You can check it out on iTunes, Spotify, and Tidal. It is The Return of the Jedi by Ben Kenobi, Kenobe. The link will be in our show notes, so make sure you go check him out. He's doing a lot of dope stuff. He's also he was the face of, I think, Mercedes, like one of the new Mercedes or something that came out in like their campaign, which is really cool. So he's just doing a lot of dope shit, but he just dropped an album. So go check him out, support him. When I first met him, he was a musician and all these other things hadn't developed yet. So it's just cool to see him circle back to that.
Yeah, creative people always seem like, you know, they're good at a lot of things, or they need to touch different things. Like you need to design stuff and build stuff and sing and make music and make visuals, and that's what it seems like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And even with myself, like, you know, it's like you want to dabble in everything because you just want to create and you want to see like, what that looks like.
Yeah. And I would have never, well, not never, but before, probably within the last 5 years, I've actually like owned being a creative. I would have never said that before. Yeah. I just like creating shit. I want to try all the things.
Yeah. Because life would be boring if it's just like, you know, you just have to do this one thing and that's all you're just sitting here to do.
Yeah. And then we always end with a question of the week. And this question is, dun, 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 what brings you joy in this moment?
In this moment, knowing that I have so much time to do everything.
That's a beautiful and abundant way to look at life. I love that.
I always have so much time.
Yeah.
I always catch myself. I'm like, oh, I don't have enough time. Like, I have so much time to do so many things.
Yeah. And time is a construct anyways. It's not real. So shout out to that. Mine is Random adventures. Life has been unfolding very interestingly for me lately, and I'm just excited for it. So
That's good.
yeah,
That's good. We hope that there is something bringing you joy in your life right now. And we appreciate you guys listening. And I think we're going to come with some practical stuff too soon. I definitely, we should do that LinkedIn one too. I got to do that.
absolutely
I'm going to do a whole lecture.
ready.
Low key, I for real, I will like step by step, like do these things to your profile
Oh yeah, no, we need that.
and these couple keys that nobody does. But because nobody does them, like you win so easy off of them.
Flextopia.
Oh my gosh, yes. LinkedIn is so amazing. Guys, thank you for listening to Carlie's Couch.
We'll talk
I
to y'all
just happen
soon.
to be here on it. Huh?
I said we'll talk to y'all soon.
Oh, I thought you was asking me something. I was like, well, I was scared.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.